this tutorial, we're going to look at making tables. So I already have the skeleton of my document. I have my doc type, my HTML tags, my head, my body, and my title. So I'm going to work down here initially in the body. Now, how do I create a table? We need to introduce some new tags. The first one is table, because we are creating a table. Now, we need to have a think about what a table consists of. When we have a table, so let us draw a picture. Draw a table. We are really drawing a rectangle. Now in our table, what we really need to do next is draw some horizontal lines to make rows. And that's how you think about it in HTML. After you've drawn your table, you need to draw your rows. So inside my table, I'm going to put some TR tags. They stand for table row. TR is table row. And I'm just going to have 2 rows in this table. Now if we go back to our diagram, the next thing we need to do is take our row and put some cells in it. So we effectively create a grid-like structure. And if we cleaned all that up, what you end up with is a nice grid. So we need to think about constructing each cell individually. So back in our code, within our row, we need to create each cell. Now there are 2 types of cells you can create. You can create header cells and normal cells. So for my top row, I'm going to give them TH tags because they are my header row, which means I can format them slightly differently. And in my other rows, all other rows, I'm going to do TD. Now I don't know why it's a D and not a C, but it is a D, so that's what it is. So I have a table. I've constructed my 2 rows, and then my top row have headers, and my bottom row have cells. Let's open up and have a look in the browser. But there's nothing there. What's going on? Why can't we see anything? The reason we can't see anything is that, firstly, our table is invisible. It doesn't draw a border around all the cells unless we tell it to. And secondly, there's no content. We've just made a structure and not filled it out. So let's put some content in. So in my header row, I'm going to put header 1, and then I'm going to have header 2, and I'll have content 1, content 2. Now in my cells, I'm just writing text. You can put anything you want in the cells. You can put images, paragraphs, videos, whatever you want. Now I will save that, and I will refresh. Now we can see that our header cells, they are bolded automatically, and our content cells are in normal content. And you can tell that everything is lined up nice and neatly. But there is no border or edge to differentiate the cells, so we can easily tell where one begins and the other ends. So let's add a border to our table. Now we could do it down here, adding different things or properties or attributes to our table, but it is much cleaner and easier to once again use some CSS. So I'll create some style tags. Now if I look down here, I have table, tr, th, and td as my tags. So what I'm going to do first of all, I'm just going to apply the border to the table cells. So it's a table tag, so table, and then curly brackets, and it's going to have a border. So BORDR colon, and my border is going to be 1 pixel, it's going to be solid, and it's going to be black. Now I will refresh, and now the table itself has an outline, but the individual cells do not. So how can I add this border to the individual cells? Well, I could just copy this and change this to TD and TH. Or I can actually just put a comma and affect my header cells and my normal cells. And this says, for all table, TH or TD tags, give them a border that is 1 pixel, solid, and black. So I will refresh, and there I have the outer border is for the table, and each individual cell has a border around it. Now you might like that, but personally I don't really like this white space that it puts in automatically, so I need to get rid of that. So how do I do that? Well, up here in my style, I'm going to put in another table with curly brackets. Now you can do this. Now this one is only going to affect the table itself, whereas this one affects the table, the header cells, and the normal cells. In my table, I'm going to go border, collapse, collapse, and save that. And I will refresh, and now my borders have collapsed and there is no gap between them. Now you can play with these border parameters. Now I just went very conservative, 1 pixel solid black. What if we made a 10 pixel border? Now it's very thick. And what if we don't like black? What if we like pink? And what if we don't like solid? What if we like dashed? Now we've got a dashed border. So you can play with these. To find something that suits you for your particular design.